hello. Welcome, family members. Welcome, everybody, and welcome to this episode of Let's Be Clear About It. My name is Claire D. Coheim. Hey, and I'm here today to recognize and to honor one of my pals in the thing that we call life, Marcus Cox. So before we get started, I want to make a few announcements. Y'all, if you've been following me for a while, you know that I have a few co-hosts, Gabby, Kingston, and Barkley. So if you hear them in the background, just know they're just saying hi to you, baby. They're just saying hi. How you doing? What's new with you? And then also I have a former employee. We call her Internet Jones. She likes to play games sometimes. I fired her last summer. Sometimes she freezes the internet. I don't know why she chooses to do that, but if that happens, just know I'll run and fire her again, and then I'll come back. So just give it a minute and let it refresh. All right. All right, y'all. Let me see. Y'all, if you have anything that you want to say for our guest today, feel free to put that down in the comments, and we'll share them as the stream goes on continuously. Y'all, feel free to share this to your various groups that let you share things related to entertainment. Feel free to do that. Go ahead. I don't mind. I'm sure he doesn't mind. I'm sure that's, I think I'm watching him backstage and he's just like, he doesn't mind. He doesn't mind. All right, let me see what else. If you want your streams to be popping like this, feel free to use my quick link here. It's bit.ly/StreamYard-CDK for Claire D. Coheim. Use that and get your streams popping like your girls, so that way you also can interview your friends and just have a good time with it. Y'all, this is my show. Let's be clear about it. You can find me here on these social media streets on Facebook at Claire D. Coheim, YouTube Claire Coheim, and Colabama, everywhere else in these internet streets. I am not even joking, y'all. And let me just give a special shout out to my former guests, Kanisha Reed, Kristen, Nikisha, Kia, Noelia, Marcus, who was on before but came back for me. Thank you, my brother. Jay Jerome, Amelia, Ebony, Tamara, Courtesy, Laura, Carl, Brianne, and Jay. Thank you all so much for having been a part of Let's Be Clear About It in the previous seasons. Y'all, it has truly been a blessing for me to share this with you, to be here each and every week, most weeks, most months, each and every time that I'm here, to be here with you all and share the stories of my friends and family members, just on this thing we call entertainment. So before we get started, y'all, I'd like to give a shout out to some of my friends who participated in my celebration of our ancestors' wildest dreams. I want to just give an homage to them and give them a shout out, so that you can also look for them and follow them on the, here in these internet streets. Here it is. Yes. So if you didn't get a chance to catch my show, my Let's Be Black About It, Let's Be Clear About It, Let's Be Black About It 2021, and a celebration of our ancestors' wildest dreams, y'all go to bit.ly/black 2021 and go ahead and buy a ticket and watch the replay of that, y'all. It was an amazing experience. So many things I learned, and I'm so glad that many of you enjoyed it. So if you want to catch the replay, just go ahead and go to bit.ly/black 2021. All right, y'all, enough about me. Let's get our guest of honor up in here. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my friend and yours, Mr. Marcus Cox. Hi, Marcus. How are you?
Hello, Claire D. Coheim.
Hey, what up?
How are you?
I'm doing well, my brother. So good to
Good.
see you. So good
Thank
to
you.
see you.
Same here. Same here. I'll be old and Baptist. It's just good to be seen,
Hey, say it.
Showing
Put them in E flat. I always tell them.
up. Always be ready. Always be ready.
Always be ready.
That's
Always be
right.
ready. Well, Marcus, I just want to thank you so much for being a part of today's show. Today is kind of like a twofold, as I mentioned to you before. I'm going to follow up with our previous conversation, but
Mm-hmm.
most of today is going to be focused on you as the performer extraordinaire. So let's get started. Are you
Yes,
ready?
I am ready.
All
I
right,
am ready.
cool. Well, here we are last year, June 2020.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
What are we not saying? But the big thing that he did come to me about was that we don't want to just have a statement. Our actions need to match them. And if anything, our actions need to go further than what the statement said. And
Yes.
one of the big things that from the moment that I got here, and it was something that was already in the works, but it's, from, being a member of the resident company here with 18 shows and 13 outreach programs, there's a whole bunch of great ideas. There's a bunch of BHAGs, as I like to call them, big honking ass goals. Um, to do things, but then as you get through the course of putting on shows, in rehearsals for shows, building shows, breaking down shows, thinking about what we're going to do the next season, those BHAGs start to fall by the wayside. But this was basically a kick in the pants and an awakening for Mike and for the rest of our team to say, we can't just say we have these plans or these ideas. We've got to put them into motion. So one of the
Yeah.
big things that especially was brought out in the Dear White American Theater letter, but something that we knew is that we need to have diversity, not just in how we plan shows, not in just the directors or the performers, but we need to make sure that those voices and those stories are being told all the way through. That includes not just playwrights, but that includes, music directors. That includes designers as
Yeah.
well. So,
All right, Marcus.
mm-hmm.
Let's
Sounded
jump
pretty
right
smart
in.
that day.
And then a little less hairy, I might
Although
add.
I was about to say, it's like, it's like I hadn't shaven since June.
Yes. So let's go ahead and get started.
Mm,
The way I really want to jump into this is to let me see. Is to talk about what you do at Playhouse on the Square and then
yes.
piggyback on what all that was said in the all that was said in the video that we just watched. Could you
Mhm.
go ahead and tell us, Marcus? First of all, where are
Yes.
my southern manners? My brother,
Yes.
how are you doing?
I am doing well. I am doing well. Juggling the craziness that is life, being a husband and a dad, especially in this COVID world is complicated. But
Yeah.
it's good, and I've learned to take it a day at a time. I'm reminded daily about the Lord's Prayer. It's broken up into sections, and it's broken up into sections for a reason. And that first section, after we give God His grace and His glory, we also then ask Him very politely, "Give us this day." So
Yeah.
I just remember and remind myself, okay, so yesterday was yesterday. Thank you for yesterday, but let's just give me this day. So I take it a day at a time, working really hard, excited for, I know we're going to talk about the show here in a little bit, but excited to be in Nat Turner in Jerusalem. And it's a big opportunity for me. And it's a show that I have been petitioning and working really hard for, campaigning for a long time. And I'm excited to be a part of the team and to be doing that show. And then really still excited to be working for Playhouse and all the strides that we've been making. It's crazy how we're lucky. We're lucky and blessed to be able to be working and
Yeah.
to continue to create, because we know that the theater body as a whole is truly suffering. But
Say it for the people in the
yeah,
back.
absolutely, absolutely, and we know that that it is hard, and it will be one of the last industries to really come back to full strength too. But yeah, entertainers, artists, and creators don't know how not to create. So we're constantly moving. Hello, you know? So it's just about making sure that we use our vehicle to be supportive and to support artists the best way that we can.
Well, that's great to hear. I said last year that I would make sure to keep Playhouse to the fire, hold you to the fire based on
Yes.
all the things that you said
Mm-hmm.
that were in the works. And I know it's not an overnight process
Mm.
because things take time. Building, you want to build on a solid foundation. So
Yeah.
building takes time. So, but I wanted to talk to you about how you're building, how Playhouse is building,
Mm-hmm.
and how what your role is in all of that.
Right. So the last we spoke, we talked about what we needed to do to further and advance the idea of diversity and equity, and really using that word inclusion to mean that it's not just there are pretty black faces in the front of a brochure, but that there is the true idea of what it is we're doing interlaced throughout our entire organization. And when we spoke, it was truly at the beginning process still. We had just
Mm-hmm.
started to send out feelers, just started to send out honest requests to say, hey, please give us an opportunity to meet with you and to learn from you. And we did that with a lot of our historically black colleges and universities, especially those who had theater and dance programs
Okay.
specifically. We also went to those theater programs at schools that had a majority Latinx population. So I
Okay.
can't remember how many requests we put out there. I know that we spoke with a lot of theater department chairs. We spoke with a lot of just, university professionals overall. And right now we have started to develop and build relationships, starting at home first with Lemoyne College. We're really excited about our partnership with them. We're working with Bethune-Cookman College.
Okay.
Yep. Got down to your neck of the woods. Um,
My rivals, my alma mater's rivals, but
yes,
it's
yes. Oh,
okay. We still love you.
I know. Getting close there.
Getting
And
close.
then we're over in the Carolinas too with Claflin University, and which I know is in Virginia,
Mm-hmm.
and North Carolina A&T as well. And
Okay.
we're still working on developing and building more. The goal is like what we want to do is make sure that when we get there and we're doing it, that we're doing it right. So right
Hey.
now, it's really hard. It's not hard, but it's difficult being that we can't just get up and go, which is
Right.
what Mike and I want to do. Just get in the plane and fly to those schools and meet those students and see them
Right.
eye to eye. But
Right.
for now, we're meeting on Zoom, doing I hate to say lecture, but meetings and connecting and letting them know,
Introducing
introducing
yourselves.
ourselves. Exactly. That's kind
Yeah.
of where we are right now. And moving forward, making sure that all of those students and faculty as well knows about the opportunities that we
Mm-hmm.
have and that they have, not just to work with us, but also to become a part of the Memphis arts community.
Well, I appreciate that because, like I mentioned, I don't know if people know, but the first theater I ever worked in was in New Hampshire, and that was Peterborough Players.
Mm,
And then I moved here to Memphis, and I had submitted my everything to all the theaters in this area, in the region, really.
yeah,
And Playhouse on the Square was the only one that gave me a chance. So I know what it did for me as a very novice black actress. I'm hoping that that narrative continues to, through the efforts that you and Mike and the rest of the team are doing. I just want to make sure that others know that this is happening, and it wasn't
right.
just that one time black square.
That's right.
You know
That's
what I
right.
mean?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. No,
yeah.
we are going to keep going with it. And it's all about, and I said this when the last time we spoke, was that it really does boil down to our mission statement and being true about it. The mission, the multifacets of the mission, but one of the key components is that we are storytellers telling the stories that represent the heart and soul of our community. And so with a community that is a predominantly African American community, other people of color as well, we have to make sure we're telling those stories and not just doing the one or two black shows a year, but
Right.
that we're telling a story that this community needs to hear, wants to hear. Will theater should do. One of the many things theater should do, in addition to entertain, is to evoke and promote change, or provoke and
Yes.
evoke you to do something. Get up and do something. And we
Yes.
want to make sure that the right voices are being used to tell those, and then people see themselves in every aspect possible. So, that's the same shirt. That's crazy. Uh,
Well, I appreciate that
no,
because, that is I hate to say that it's the buzzword in our entertainment industry. I've been listening
right.
to a lot of Clubhouse talks, and that has been the buzzword, but I'm glad to see that Playhouse is putting their money where their mouth is.
That's exactly right.
So
That is
thank you.
exactly right.
Thank you. I'm going to follow up with you again in a few more months,
Please
perhaps.
do.
But
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about your role at Playhouse. You see, you're not only my guest, but you host another show, several shows. Will you talk
Couple
about
of
that very
shows.
briefly? You're the hardest working man in entertainment.
It was funny. I was watching a James Brown clip the other day, and I was like, those performances, whew, like from the beginning to the end, just went
Yeah.
everywhere. Like, that's my day. Yeah. So, yes, I'm the communication or community outreach director here for Playhouse on the Square. So, what I call that portion of my job is just I'm the door opener.
Okay.
I try to make sure that I'm the one who connects our community and our businesses, organizations, nonprofits, and other concepts and aspects of our region, find ways that they can connect themselves to our theater. Maybe it's something as simple as, hey, don't forget that we do shows, come and see shows. We have classes that you could come and learn from and be a part of. But then also it goes even further to, the opportunities that large corporations and business organizations can have to join us and join in our effort and mission, how it ties with theirs. Everyone talks about, being community active. Well, we
Right.
are an opportunity where you can really, like you said, put your money where your mouth is.
Yeah.
How can we help you connect yourself to a community, and things like that. So I go from trying to make sure that I'm connecting the largest corporations with our development department to sponsor shows and things like that. And then also finding ways to where our our other community organizations know about their opportunities to get folks who live in their neighborhoods into our theater to see shows, or to at least the opportunity to see shows however they can, because we know that arts and theater is the lifeline to everything, truly.
Yeah.
And we want to make sure that we are facilitating that the best we can. So that's one part of my job. And then
That's
there's
part number one.
one.
Yeah. Okay.
And then there's the communications aspect. I'm the guy with, of course, my partner, my friend, my buddy, my work husband, Daniel Stewart Nelson. I really can't do anything in the world without him, and he knows it, and I love him.
Daniel.
He's right there next to me.
Hey, boo.
He says, "Hey, boo." He says, "Hey, boo." Our office is the one who gets all the information about our programs, our shows, everything out to the community and to our nation. Pretty much everything kind of comes through our office and department. So that's the second part of my job, is to make sure that I don't spell things wrong, which happens. So getting that information, getting that noise out there, but also making sure that I'm the person who, if you have a question, concern, complaint, whatever it is, reach out to me, Marcus at playhouseonthesquare.org. Send me that email, find me on social media, whatever you want, call, talk to me. I am not afraid to answer questions.
Are you afraid to answer the hard questions?
I'm not afraid to answer the hard questions too, because here's the thing I learned a long time ago from my grandma. Like, sometimes the answer is, I don't know.
And that's a legitimate answer.
And that's a legitimate answer. And
Yeah.
then the follow-up to that is, okay, so now I'll go and I'll find out for you.
Yeah.
So I'm not afraid to answer the hard questions. Happy to hear anything, anytime. And then that was, what is that? 2? That's 3. And then that part of the job, the communications part of the job, spearheaded opportunities where I am the host of 2 shows. Well, a host of one show and the co-host of another. Ask Playhouse is our monthly talk show, if you will, that gets our patrons and the community an opportunity to see what's happening inside Playhouse on the Square. It's what we've been using as a communications conduit during the pandemic, so that folks knew that we were still open even though the doors were closed, and that we were still creating opportunities for folks to be entertained and be enlightened and be informed. And so we were using that monthly to say, okay, here's what we've got for this month. Here's what we've got for this month, what to look forward to there. Ask Playhouse actually started as a way for us to get patrons to have a better idea of what they were getting ready to see with our plays. We have a great partnership with WKNO and the great Khaki Walton for our musicals. In the before times, prior to a musical, we would do, oh gosh, what were they called? The lunch,
Live lunch.
live lunch. That's it. I was like, it's been so long since we had one. Uh, so live lunch was our opportunity to give a mini concert of our musicals
Yeah.
prior to them opening, and there would be interviews with Khaki and members of the show. I'm sure you did a bunch of them while you were here,
Yeah.
Claire.
Yeah.
And so patrons kind of knew an idea of what they were getting into, get excited about the musicals. And then when I joined the team here, I noticed that we didn't have the same equivalent for our plays.
Right.
And I thought, well, we really should do that too, especially since we choose a lot of plays that go into our season that people don't know about. Sometimes
Right.
they're edgier, sometimes they're avant-garde, just out of the normal. You don't hear or see those plays at the Tony Awards. You don't hear or see those plays
Right.
as often, but they had the same amount of, they deserve the same validity. They deserved the same accolades as well. And so we wanted to make sure that folks knew those plays as well. And Ask Playhouse kind of developed from that. Then the pandemic happened and we needed to use it as a way so folks knew what we were doing. And now we're moving back to where we're using them to spearhead or to promote those shows and give folk an opportunity to hear from the actors, the directors, the designers, as we develop those shows, kind of get a good idea of where our mindset was when we were creating them.
Well,
So that's Ask Playhouse. And then somebody said, hey, why don't we create a podcast?
that's your job now.
That's my job now. So our resident company member and a dear, great guy, Donald Sutton, and
Donald.
I are the hosts of the Podscast, which is our monthly podcast. We have 2 episodes a month, and our themes vary depending on the month. We just kind of sit down and go, what story do we want to tell? What story do you want to hear? What questions do we have? And find the folk that we know can answer those questions. And the tagline is that it is the stories of Playhouse from the people by Playhouse. So we
good.
bring folks in that have a connection to Playhouse in some way. Maybe they were volunteers, maybe they're longtime subscribers, members, maybe they're alums from way back, current employees, current staff members, and we have run a gambit of stories. We've talked obviously about COVID. We've talked about we had a love story episode in February, which was a lot of fun. Talking about the showmances, because we all love a good showman.
Hey now, get your mind right.
Sometimes. But yeah, and then this current one, which just aired the Tuesday of this week, we had Alice Rainey Berry from the University of Memphis.
Oh, Alice.
Dave Landis, who I know you've heard of him a time or two, the associate director.
Doesn't ring a bell.
Right.
Okay.
He's our associate director here at Playhouse on the Square. And Lawrence Blackwell, who's the current director of Nat Turner in Jerusalem, who was formerly with the Hattie Lou Theater. We had them on to discuss advocacy, activism theater, and protest theater, because we know that whenever our country and our world is faced with a huge situation like this is, the arts always responds afterwards as well. The Harlem Renaissance was the direct creation of Jim Crow laws, and the war on drugs definitely helped, fuel the work of Alice Walker, the work of August Wilson, so it continues to develop and build, and our question was, what does the theater of activism, theater of protest look like on the other side of this global pandemic, on the other side of the awakening of social unrest for some folks? Some of us have been awake for a minute. Some of us have never got to sleep because
talk about it.
Story, right? So, but what does art and what does theater look like on the other side of that? We had a really great conversation about that, but then also the question came up too within this roundtable type discussion was, all right, so it's all good now. It's a great talking point now, But what happens when the leaders of arts organizations go and sit down at the table again to say, okay, what does our season look like after experiencing financial hardship and financial difficulties? When does woke become a talk about the wallet? When does,
Yeah.
how do we keep that going? So,
Yeah.
yeah. So we've got to keep pushing with that. But we had a great conversation. I hope folks will check that out. It's available on Apple Podcast and Spotify as well. And it's called The Podcast.
Well, I'm excited because I really enjoy what Playhouse is doing to make sure that people remain engaged, that people remain in tune, and that people know just the how things are being made, the decisions that are being made behind the scenes. Because a lot of times we think that what we see is just, oh, everyone's so happy and that's what happens. Oh, it just magically happens. But to have these hard discussions, really, really, I really want to make sure that there is an opportunity for you to express that. So thank you for that.
Of course.
We've gotten to a point in my show what I call Flower Power Shower Hour.
Okay.
I don't know if you're familiar with this.
I am excited and petrified.
I hope you are petrified. Yes.
Okay.
Flower Power Shower Hour is a moment in my show where we get a chance to really just thank you as the artist and the administrator and the person that you are. I usually pick someone that has impacted both of us, our careers, our lives together.
Okay.
So, but today I decided to do something different for you.
Oh.
I decided to do something different for you.
Okay.
This person is probably someone who means the world to one of us. Oh. Are you ready for this?
I am ready for this.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present to some and reintroduce to others the backbone of our guest, Tasha Cox.
Oh, hello, my heart, my soul.
Hi, Tasha. Thank you so much for being here.
So nice to meet you, Claire.
Nice to meet you too.
Texting and stuff. But it's so beautiful to see you.
It's so great to see you here. Tasha, I thought you would be the best person to give Marcus his flowers because you know him like none of us do. So if you would just take a moment to just honor him and give him his flowers that he is so, so worthy of.
Marcus is an amazing actor and a great husband and an even better father to our only daughter who loves him so much. And I hope you're recording this because I'm sure when she sees it, she'll be jealous that she couldn't get out of school to come and rave about him too. But to talk about the amazing actor part of it, he won a Memphis Theater Award way back when the Ostranders were called Memphis Theater Awards.
That's a long time
ago. If you remember that.
A long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But all that does is tell you.
Straight by horse and buggy to that artwood show, I remember.
All that tells you is how long he's been invested in beautiful Memphis theater, even on the college level. Yeah. And he really is a Memphis son. He, born and raised, he can tell you every inch of this town. And I dare somebody
come on
go out to Memphis, go to the real Memphis, find somebody who doesn't know who Marcus Cox is. And to clarify, it's Marcus E. Cox because people who really know him know that there are two other Marcus Coxes in this town.
And I
Yes.
know them all too. Like we all know each other.
You
It's the
have a little
craziest thing.
thread, a
We've
secret
got
private.
like a little group. Yeah.
And the scary part of it also was that after we got engaged and my brother found out his name, he told us about one of his friends who he went to Morehouse College with, who is also named
No.
Marcus
No.
Cox. So you can imagine, at my brother's wedding, both of them were groomsmen. So that
Oh.
program was pretty fun.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. Tasha, thank you so much for truly introducing us to who Marcus is. I am so appreciative of your time, your input, your love. Thank you for being the one to give Marcus his flowers here on a recorded, yes, recorded, and forever on Facebook live stream.
Yay!
Thank you for your time.
All right. Thank you,
Thank you,
Claire.
babe. I love you.
Love you too, babe.
Oh, Marcus.
You got me good. Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I did. That's what I was looking for, that Barbara Walters effect. Marcus, look, let me just say this. You do mean a lot to so many people. And while I was, I already mentioned to you that I do a little bit of stalking. I got a chance to go through your Facebook and your Instagram and just to see, the pillar of who you are. And I love how you describe yourself on your Facebook is husband and father. You don't say the big title, the community relations, and you don't say, former. You just say what your purpose. I feel like what you say your purpose in life is. Could you explain to us why you chose to use that as opposed to the big title that you currently hold at Playhouse?
Really early on, I was probably 8 or 9, the pastor of our home church said there are 3 things that you need in life to be successful. He said you need Jesus, you need your family, and you need a job. So
Okay, Pastor.
I have kept that. The late Reverend Elder Jesse James Benson, who just recently passed away, and I loved him. He was my second grandfather, truly. And their family, I love their family, and we're all together. Anyway, so so Reverend Benson says, there are 3 things that you need. You need Jesus, you need your family, and you need a job. And I have kept that with me always. And so it is. It really just is truly who I am. Everything that I try to do and decide to do, I think about my family first and what they mean to me and what my decisions do for them. And they have been a great source, not just Tasha and Kelsey, but my mom, my dad, her mom and dad, that I don't even say, I barely use the word in-law because there's so much more to me than that. And my grandparents, my aunts and uncles, everybody, and folks who know me, it doesn't take very long for you to join the family. I don't think any of my close friends that I've known, like all through high school, I don't believe that they've called my mom and dad Mr. and Mrs. Cox.
Right.
Since maybe a couple of weeks after knowing me. They all, when we talk, they're like, "How's mom? How's dad?" So.
Yes.
Yeah, so family is everything. I grew up in a big one and a great one. We all keep in touch and stay, with each other. My brothers and my sisters are always around and close by, and we're always just a phone call away from each other, which is really, I know that I'm a blessed one, and I know that not everybody can say that, and I'm lucky and I'm blessed to know that I have that and have my family with me like that. So that's who I am. And, being a husband is great. It's work. Don't let anybody tell you that it's not. Being a spouse is work.
Talk about it.
But it's good work, and it has amazing benefits because you get to, wake up next to someone who loves you and you love them, and that everything you're doing is for them. and we just keep working at it for that. And but I will tell you, I have been lucky and blessed to have played some amazing roles and have done some awesome shows and have worked with some very uber talented people. But there is no role that
Hmm.
I love being more than Daddy.
Yeah.
It's the best. It is the best. She got the best of me the day she was born, and she'll get the best of me until I turn to dust.
I heard
Yeah.
that. Y'all, he's telling the truth because his Instagram name is Kelsey's dad.
That's
Zero
it.
seven.
At 07, that's when she was born.
Kelsey's dad, 07. I love
It
it
was
so
my
much.
favorite day when I went to pick her up from Montessori school, and she was in the back part playing with whoever she was playing with, doing whatever. And one of her little friends came up and saw me first and just screamed back there, "Kelsey, her dad is here!" Mr. Kelsey's dad. Kelsey will be here in a minute. And when I realized that that was my name, Mr.
Yes.
Kelsey's dad.
Yes. I love it. I love
Yeah.
it. I love it. Let me tell you. Okay. So there are a lot of things happening right now. We're getting to our section called Comments Check. Thanks to
Yay.
coined by Kristen Gilmore the last time she was here. I just wanted to.
Kristen so
I
much.
love Kristen. I love her.
Yeah.
I love her. I love her. I just wanted to add here that Jay Balcom said that that's so sweet. That's so sweet. And then we got a lot of hellos to you, Marcus. Hello from Chris Berryman Mitchell over in California.
Okay.
We got Brenda Lee in New York saying good morning and hello to you, Chris. Yes. Rika Smith over on the East Coast is saying hello to you. Hello to you. And I'm just so glad that other people are here to enjoy what you have to say, both as a representative, but also as a performer. So thank you so much for your time again.
Yes.
All
Absolutely.
right. Let's keep jumping in. Let's talk a little bit now about, let's see, the performer. Marcus Cox, the performer. So talk to me a little bit about these shows, because I know you did this show right here. You did it at Circuit Playhouse. What show was this?
My first show at Circuit what was the first show at Circuit? Oh, I believe that we did Blue at the Circuit Playhouse, and it was in 2000 something. I don't remember. And it was funny. I saw your pictures, loving of the folk earlier. In that show in Blue, I did that show with the fabulous Monette McClin and
Yes.
Earl Grant.
What?
Yeah. Earl Grant was my illegitimate son, and with Monette and I. So that was fun. I've known Earl for a good long time, and I'm so glad he's back in town and doing great, wonderful things. And Monette is just continuing to kick butt in Chicago.
Yeah.
So I that was the first show I did at Circuit, or for a part of Playhouse on the Square family. And then I went on and I did Sophisticated Ladies with Robert Barry Fleming and Kristen Gilmore. And that was the first show. That was my first show where I had a featured solo. And I was so excited. I could not contain myself. It was great. And I didn't get scared until later, but it was exciting and fun. And it was one of those moments where that was actually the moment where I was like, okay, so yeah, this is working. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm where I'm supposed to be. And to have folks really trust and believe in me and have that much faith in me to do something with such an important piece of work was a big deal for me. Then I went on and worked with Dave in Ragtime, and
Yes.
it is still the show that touches me in every part of my place. I got to see Brian Stokes Mitchell and Audra McDonald do it in New York.
Okay.
Sat in the very last seat of the theater, in the back row of I had my head on the back wall.
No, you did not.
Yes, I did. But when Brian gets out there on that stage by himself, I swear that it felt to me, and this is me, a junior in high school,
Right.
on the theater trip to New York. when he started singing, everybody disappeared in that house for me. And it felt as if he was staring me right in my face.
That's the
And
power.
I remember, and Sarah Lynn Archibald, who's my theater teacher, my mentor,
My
my
friend.
mom, my everything, my friends. Yes,
Yes.
she said the show was over, and everyone was standing except for me, and I was holding. I'm like I was gripping the seat, and I was still just staring,
Oh
completely, just like
my
it had hit it.
goodness.
Shook my soul to the point where I couldn't even
Yes.
stand. And
Yes. Come
I
with
believe,
it.
yeah, and I believe before then I still had the notion of being a doctor. Um,
Come on,
yeah,
say it. Say it.
and it was over, and folks were leaving, and my mom came, was a chaperone on that trip, and she had other groups, and she was pushing people out of the theater because we had like another show to go to or something. And Sarah Lynn like got everybody out, and she sat down right next to me, and she says, "Are you going to be okay?" And I said, I don't think there's anything else I can do in my entire life that would
I
ever
heard
make me
that.
feel like this ever again. I have to do this. Someone else needs to feel this. Like, I can't be
Yes.
the only one who feels this.
Yes. You talk about the power of theater and telling
Yeah.
stories and really losing yourself in it. That's why I love live theater.
Yeah.
That right there, what you just said, that
Yeah.
effect. When I was thinking about becoming, changing careers,
Mhm.
I was also thinking about going into medicine or going into performance, and I had gone to, I had gone to like a meet and greet for a medical school that I was really really interested in being a part of. A friend of mine also, and she ended up being a doctor. But when I was toiling with the idea, I mean, I didn't know what to do, and then my husband said, you'll be helping people either way.
Mm.
And just listening to you realize that same thing,
Yeah.
the beauty, the power, the healing, the thought-provoking
Right.
aspect of theater, of performance. It just resonates so much in me because I was there too. So
Yeah.
I appreciate you talking about that, your
Absolutely.
experience. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. That was the moment. And so then, I sat there, and while I was in New York, I was like, okay, so I'm here. What do I need to do? I worked my way into, like, I bullied my way into AMDA to audition while we were in New York.
No, you
Yes, I
didn't.
did. Yes,
No,
I
you
did. I said,
didn't.
I'm here. I have, I don't even know if this is like good audition stuff yet or not. I know nothing, but I'm coming. I'm got it. I'm doing it. And they're like, I don't know if they just feel pity for me or what, but they let me audition. They gave me the tour. It was,
Yeah.
I ended up going to the University of Memphis for a Department of Theater and Dance for my BFA. And it was a great
Okay.
experience and wonderful. And I was supposed to be there. Everything is meant
Yeah.
to be. So I went there, met Tasha. We got together, got married after being together for 4 years, and
Yes.
dating for 4 years. Don't let folks say, like, oh, they were together. We dated for 4 years. Yeah. And then we got married, and then we were married for 4 years, and then we had a kid.
Oh, how
And we moved to
beautiful.
Atlanta, and I was on and going, and life does what it does, and things changed for me, but it changed for the better. Again, I remembered that what my pastor always says, what you really need is
Yeah.
and so my career changed a little, and I had to do what was right for my family. And now I'm here. That's what happened, got me back to Memphis,
Yeah.
and now I'm here. I'm performing again, doing
Yeah.
shows, and then working for a theater. So I do theater all day long.
All day long.
I never. I mean, it's what I've wanted to do, and now I'm able to do it, and hopefully, I'm affecting another young teenage boy who didn't realize that this was his passion, or
Yeah.
and now here, and hopefully, I've been able to make that happen for them.
Look, I didn't even know there was such thing as musical theater until
Mm,
I was in my 20s. So
wow. Yeah.
I never even heard of the idea. So
Okay.
until someone brought it to me. So just like
Yeah.
you're doing right now, I hope someone is hearing you and allowing that to resonate, or even you introducing theater, the concept of theater is my life, like literally being
Yeah.
able to work in a theater and perform. I think there's a beauty in that. I think there's beauty in that. I want
That's
to talk
right.
to you a little bit about this cute little show. Talk to me
Yes.
about your experience in Kinky Boots, because I love the movie. I have yet to see the show, but I
Oh my
love the
gosh.
movie.
It was such a fun show. It was my first performance on the new Playhouse stage.
Uh huh.
I got to be there with, my buddy, my pal, my right hand, my left hand too, Daniel Nelson, who's the choreographer and one of the angels for that show. I was not an angel girl, no. Uh, I will tell you, it was the first musical that I'd done, and I looked at Daniel when he casted me, and I said, "Oof, okay, legs. All right, bones. Let's see.
Look at them
What's
legs
gonna
and
happen?"
bones. They got you in a chair.
They put see exactly. So those first week of dance rehearsals, I would literally come home and like turn the water on and go soak in the tub. It was like this is okay. I remember how this feels. Okay,
Yes.
new. It's a new feeling in these old bones. But yeah, it was so great. It was a great fun show to do. I got to play uh, Justin Allen Tate's dad, and so that was fun. And yeah, it was great to be with some folks that I have done theater with before, like the great Kent Fleshman. He and Kent and
Oh
I have
yes,
done so
Ken.
many shows together for years, but
Yeah.
then also to work with so many new people. And we had a great group of interns that year as well, and to get to work with them. Kelly was working next to us. She was our intern that year for the first part of that season. So
Mm-hmm.
to get to work with her as a performer, but also to help, bolster her on another aspect, and have her realize what Daniel and I've continue to tell. It's great when we get interns in, because it's like, you're going to get skills and learn things to where not only can you go and be a performer and hope, we hope and pray that you have the best performance career,
Right.
but it's even greater when you can go into a theater and say, yeah, not only can I sing and kick my face, but for the last year, I have been a part of a marketing team for 18 shows
Yeah.
and,
Yeah. Yeah.
13 outreach programs and educational events and things like that. Like, you need stuff, I got it. And
Yeah.
create yourself a position, create yourself a career and job on top of being able to do what you're doing. So you can feed your soul, but you can feed your belly as well.
Yeah, I really appreciate that, because while I was looking at your influence and your impact, not just on the intern company, but also with your job and your love for theater and performance, I came across a little something. Unfortunately, I can't play too much of it because Facebook will pull this video down
She
because it's
will.
copyrighted material. But there was a challenge that you started or participated in or did. I don't know. But Just Be
Yeah.
Memphis, and watching this, I could not help but laugh and laugh and laugh. I enjoyed I was singing with you, my brother. Tell me how it felt for you to put this together, this campaign effort for a show you were in.
Yes, yes. So, Kinky Boots, the main character, is a drag queen, and drag performing is an art within itself. But we thought it would
Yes.
be a lot of fun as part of the marketing to do a lip sync challenge with that show. And so I don't just talk about it, I do about it. And there is no better performer, in my opinion, than the great Tina Turner. Uh,
Yes.
so I had to do my lip sync challenge, and so I did me some Tina, and I even pulled out the jean jacket in homage as well.
Look at you. You were feeling it.
Yeah.
Yes, 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 yes. It was so good to come across this video. I can't tell you how it just let me know that I was on the right track with my life.
Oh
When I
yeah.
came across this, I was like, this needs to be a part of the homage and the experience that is Marcus Cox. This right here, because you put such a big smile on my face.
Oh, good. I'm
And this
glad.
is years later, because this was what, 2019.
Yeah, was it 20? I think so. Yes, that's right. Yeah.
2019, and here we are in 2021, and it still brought joy to my face. And that goes back to what you were saying about the power of theater and the impact that
Mhm.
it has while you're clenching your hands for a very live and very well sung Brian Stokes Mitchell. Here I am feeling what you're feeling, because I grew up in that era, and I know, Tina, we don't need it, we don't need,
We don't
that's
need
what I was
another.
saying. We don't need another hero. Woo, you did that for me. So I thank you. I thank you. Thank
Good.
you.
I'm so glad.
All right, let's keep going and talk a little bit about your upcoming performance that we have.
Yes.
That is a part of why your beard is so thick.
So thick right now.
So
Yes.
thick. Will you talk to us a little bit about your upcoming performance here?
Yes. So, Playhouse on the Square, we stopped using the word pivot, but we transitioned our 52nd season from live on stage productions to doing our digital content in the first half of this pandemic. And then as we moved into the new year, we knew that we could perform and we could do on-stage theater again. And though it would look a little bit differently without in-person audiences, our team here worked really hard to do what we needed to do to get streaming equipment, get the cameras, get the sound equipment, get the editing material and things
It's been
like that.
high quality, let me say.
Thank you. Yeah,
it has been.
And it's certainly, it is a team effort. There is some great folk, and we lucked out big time with some of the folk that came and joined our team here to make sure that we got this stuff together. So we're doing on-stage productions again. They're available streamed on Showtix for You. We had I Am My Own Wife with Michael Gravois
the co-author of my book.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we were working on a book together for the past 8 years. It's called Act Our Way or the Highway.
Okay. I love that. That's sometimes you have to act on the highway too. So
Come on with it.
I did that for a while, yeah. Michael did I Am My Own Wife, reprised his role in that performance. He did that performance a few years back, and so it was, a new show on our stage, and that was streamed out to a very, receptive audience. And then Nat Turner in Jerusalem is the second installment for our Playhouse at Home series, and this will be another on-stage production that will be streamed nationwide. Nat Turner in Jerusalem is written by Nathan Allen Davis, and it is it's based on using as kind of a starting context was the Confessions of Nat Turner, which was written by attorney Thomas Gray weeks before Turner was executed for leading the rebellion in Southampton County, Virginia. What Nathan did was he used that as a concept or an idea of what if this document wasn't the end of the relationship between Nat Turner and Thomas Gray, because there was, again, it's all about how the universe shifts and works together. Thomas and Nat were born in the same year. They had very similar lives in relation, obviously, because Nat was a slave, but in relation, and then there had to be, according to Nathan Allen Davis, there had to be a connection between these two, because Nat dies and then right soon after Thomas dies. Right. So he thought, what happened if their relationship was not just I'm writing these confessions of my acts, but what if there was more to it? And we see a development of it, and it is. I use a lot of the phrase of, what the play entails is, how things have changed, still they stay the same. And so there are definitely moments in this piece where you will look and say, oh my gosh, this just happened. Like, are they talking about, years ago, or are they talking about last year? Are they talking about last month? So there's some really powerful, it is a powerful piece. It is a beautiful piece. It is poetic. It is literally written in poetry, written as poetry. And I am excited to have Lawrence Blackwell as our director, who I got to work with in Jitney a few years ago at the Hattie Lou Theater. Lawrence literally came in the week of tech rehearsal to take over one of the roles. Our lead actor actually got sick and passed away. And and Lawrence came in not knowing Jitney, but obviously being a scholar of August Wilson's work, he was able to come right in and join our team, our brotherhood. And he was, it was still just one of the best pieces that I ever got to do. So when as I said, I've been campaigning for Nat Turner in Jerusalem. It's the moment I learned about this play when it was on Off-Broadway. I didn't get to see it, but I knew that it was something that I wanted to be a part of. I knew that it was a show that Playhouse could do and do well. And so when Mike came to me and said, okay, who should we get to direct it? I said, without a doubt, I didn't even breathe. I just said, Lawrence Blackwell, let's go find him. Let's get him. Let's see if he would be willing to join us and help us tell this story. And we're so lucky that he said yes. And then I was even luckier that Donald Sutton, my co-host for the podcast, my friend, my co-worker and buddy, said, yes, I'll join you and do this show as well. So we have a great rapport, great relationship, and it has been so much fun to do a show. And Playhouse is doing it right in terms of, working with the pandemic. We're trying to keep each other safe and still be able to create something beautiful for our community to see. And I hope that everybody will get a ticket. It's streamed online, show tickets for you. Tickets are only $25. You can go to playhouseonthesquare.org to get all the information you need and, buy a ticket, get everybody that's been vaccinated, bring them to your house. Stay 6 feet apart, watch the show, keep your mask on. The mask will help catch your tears. So,
oh, look at you. Marcus, will you tell us, who do you play?
Oh, yeah. So I get the opportunity to play Nat Turner in this piece. Yeah.
How did you prepare for this? Okay, because this is not, you're not playing some Facebook Live host, Claire D. Kohlheim. You're playing an iconic figure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
you're playing someone who people know. They can go and Google and research. What was your process with this?
So one of the first things that I realized is, you go and you do your research and you look up things. I did the Google search, and Nat Turner is a story that for most people you don't learn it unless you have done the work and the research yourself. Right. It is not. I don't remember or recall learning about it in school. I'm pretty sure maybe I did, but I don't honestly remember. But what I can say,
I've never heard of him as a child. I had never heard of him as a child in elementary, middle, or high school. It wasn't until his name, at FAMU, at my HBCU, that I started learning about our African American brothers and sisters. It wasn't until I got to college that I even heard the name Nat Turner. Exactly. So, and then that's the case for me too, and a lot of folks too. And so as I've started to do my research and learn about it, and I read the confession, or his confession that was written by Thomas Gray, and what happened as I was kind of doing that little bit of background and research for this character who, again, Nat Turner in Jerusalem isn't a biopic of his life. It is, he's there, Thomas is there, and then this is a new story. So it's not the retelling of his life as much as it's a, kind of used as a jumping point to tell another story with respect and honor and deference to him. And I say respect, honor, and deference because all that we really know about Nat Turner is written and told from the view of white people. Yeah.
We don't know his story because he didn't write his story down. Right. We have to take it for what it is to say that Thomas Gray wrote truly the words that Brother Turner said. Yeah. And, so that's where I took it from it. And it hurt some to know that, that's where we have to go. That's where we have to take our historical references from. But so I did that to kind of get an idea of who he was from, what the material that I could find, but then also know and remind myself that he was obviously much more than what other people said about him. He had to be. I truly believe that he was a prophet. I truly believe that he heard from God, that he saw the signs in the sky, and that he did what he believed was right to do to liberate his people. And one of the questions that we ask in the play is, what does war look like? Mm-hmm. Because that's what it was, and he says that, it wasn't war, it was warning. And it reminds me very much, there's a moment in the play that reminds me of what Malcolm X said about, the assassinations of both Kennedys. He says, hey, this is the chickens coming to roost. Yeah. And that is, you can see a lot of what's happening now. And it's almost as if people had to just listen. So there's that part of making sure that I'm giving honor and reverence and deference to him, and that he's not just this evil character, but he was a true man. He was a father. He was a husband. He was a pastor. And then
humanize him.
Yes, I'm doing my best to try to make him human. And then there is the other part too. Like I said, he was a pastor. He spoke the word of God. And so I have, lived my life in the Black church. And so there is a good bit of Holy Ghost fire that comes out.
Put him in E flat. Ooh, yes, come on.
So there is some of that, and yeah.
Yes.
And so I've gotten to spend a lot of time on YouTube listening to Jasper Williams and Bishop Paul Morton, and some of them old, not these new preachers, not
the ones with the LED projectors,
right? All of that stuff. No, I needed to hear some old,
It's resonating from the wood, from the floors.
Exactly, from the floor, some shaking and some,
I told you, E flat.
Some of those.
Yeah.
Some of those definitely will come into play, and you will hear hopefully you'll hear the shaking of some bars.
Let me tell you, I am super excited. You don't even know what you done stirred up within me. Ha! You got to get some of that in there, okay?
Oh yeah.
Yes. All right, we got to a point right now. It's another moment for our comments checked, and we're just gonna go right into the comments to tell you people are just thanking you, Marcus. Thanking you so much. Brenda Lee says family is everything when you were talking about your beautiful wife and your daughter and your family unit. So thank you so much. We have Linda who is going to catch the replay. Hi, Linda. She's definitely going to watch and the replay too. So thank you. We got Franco saying hello, and Chris from California also mentioning that she never learned about Nat Turner until later. It was not, right. He was not a figure that I learned about. Many of us had learned about. So I'm really excited. Tell people again where they can buy tickets and how they can support this particular effort.
That's right. Yeah. So you can go to our website, playhouseonthesquare.org, and it will come right up. There's a banner right at the top. And you can click that and get all the information. If you want, you can go directly to Showtix for the number 4U, the letter U, altogether.com, and then in the search bar, just put in Playhouse on the Square, and you'll see the information about that show, as well as some other programs and shows that we have listed that will be streamed out through that platform. And then we've also, if you are a subscriber for Playhouse on the Square, you can use your subscription to purchase that streaming ticket as well.
Say that again.
If you are a current subscriber to Playhouse on the Square, you can use your subscription to purchase your streaming tickets for these streamed shows that we have, and we'll be doing these shows up until June. And all you have to do is call our box office, 726-4656, 901-726-4656, and you will be able, and our folks there in the box office will help you get your streaming ticket for the show as well.
Thank you so much, Marcus. Let me tell you, we've gotten to the last section of my show where I ask the tough questions that you said you're not afraid to answer.
All right.
Mm-hmm. You ready? You sure did. You're like, okay.
Let's go.
The first question comes from some guy named Dave Landis. You mentioned him earlier. And he said, who is your favorite director? Remember, Dave Landis asked this question.
So it is hard to answer. Not that I won't answer it, but it's hard to answer because I have been so lucky and blessed to have worked with some great directors. Dave Landis certainly being one of those great directors. He's the first person to, put me in a show on that Playhouse. So I'm always, going to be totally grateful for him. I can't wait to work with him on something again, and I know that I will. I've also I've worked with Dennis Whitehead Darling.
Yes, Dennis.
On the Parchment Hour a few years ago at Hattiloo Theater, and that man pulled some tears from places in me. I didn't know.
Yes.
You know how you feel like you handled some things, and then I was like,
and you realize, I'm still dealing with that. Yes,
I
come
remember
on.
there was a moment in there. I had a monologue in that show, and I stand, right there, dead downstage center, and I'm just delivering this monologue. And he says, "Just deliver it." And I was like, "Okay." And so I'm going through this rehearsal process, and I'm delivering this monologue, and all of a sudden, I feel him coming close to me. I was like, "Why is Dennis coming to me?" And before I could know it, like Dennis is like wrapped his body around mine, and I
Oh,
was like, "What are you?" Like, all of a sudden it just came like he knew it was coming
yes,
before I did. So it was
yes,
working with him was great. We had an amazing ensemble for that show, and I learned so much just being directed by him and like being able to see his vision come to life. Uh,
yes.
that was great. So he's one of the best directors for sure. Um,
I'll make sure
and
to let Dave
Gives
Landis know
love and
this.
deference to everybody that has ever directed me, told me to go push
Yeah.
push the broom. Sherwood Laurie, the iconic Sherwood Laurie, who's the executive producer at Theater Memphis for years and years
Mm-hmm.
and years. He directed me in A Christmas Carol and fussed that I was pushing the broom wrong. Like, uh,
I love when directors can push you. One of the things I used to think is when a director called your name and gave you a note that you were in trouble. I always equate somebody giving me getting in trouble, maybe because I used to get in a little bit of trouble with my brother as a kid. But I love how when you find a director who actually pushes you and challenges you, it helps you to become the artist that you are today.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. All right, so we got a few more questions coming from James Lipton's book, Inside the Inside.
Ah,
You ready for some of this?
I'm ready for it.
All right. So, what's your favorite word?
Power.
Ooh, okay, power. I see you. What's your least favorite word?
No.
Let's see. Who else said that? I think. Nope, no one said it. What makes
Oh.
you happy?
What makes me happy?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, what makes me happy?
These are the tough questions. Okay.
It really is the tough question. What makes me happy is knowing that I've made somebody else smile. That makes me happy. Yeah.
So, what's the what makes you sad? The opposite.
Mm. Knowing that there are mothers and fathers who can't tuck their children in at night because somebody else took their life.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh wow. What sound or noise do you love? The tough questions, my brother. That's what I'm here to ask.
Oh, curse you, James Lipton. The sound that I like, I can't lie. It's applause.
Oh yes, come on, perform. What's the sound or noise you hate?
I don't like the sound of traffic. It's
Really?
probably my PTSD from living in Atlanta for 10 years.
Oh, ATL. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. If you could attempt a different profession, what would it be?
Preacher.
Come on. What profession would you not like to attempt?
I could not be a sanitation worker. I know Denzel likes to talk about he was a garbage man like when he was 20. That wouldn't have been me. If that's what it took to become an actor, then I don't know what I'd be doing. But, I guess I would be preaching the word, but
Yeah, you would.
yeah, no, I couldn't do sanitation.
And the final question is, when you get to heaven, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive?
Hey kid, I told you it'd be worth it.
Hey, come with it. Come with it. Come with it. I just want to thank you before we leave. I have one more little surprise for you. One little surprise. Y'all, while I was preparing for Marcus's interview, I ran across, what's the brother's name? Hold on. I got to make sure I get this quote right. Oh, there it is. James Weekly's post back in 2019. And Marcus said that Since the beginning of time, art has played a pivotal role in the development of society. Artists have been revealed, scorned, killed, and sought after for guidance. The power of art and those that practice were the backbone of the civil rights movement in the 60s, and art still plays a role in society today. And I really appreciate that you said that, because for me, sometimes I compartmentalize my life. And this is art. This is my life. This is racism. This is economic issues. This is the pandemic. When the truth is, it's all encompassed. But I loved how you said here that, you know, what the power of art really does, and how it helps us really blend society together and see it in its dearest and truest form. So speaking about art and your time in Atlanta, I came across a little ditty. Do you know what this is?
Oh my Lord, yes I do. I was in a,
What is this?
Deadline. Yeah. So I was in a movie. It was called The Anatomy of Love.
Yes.
And yes, oh my gosh, those guys, it was a lot. Oh my goodness. Girl, you did some digging.
Hey, your girl does hurry to the search, okay?
Wow. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I had just moved to Atlanta. Tasha and I did not have a kid yet. By look of the fact that I still have hair. And I was just, I was doing everything I could to try to get seen, to try to find work. I think I had just gotten back from working on tour with the National Theater for Children and sent my stuff out. I don't remember how I found this gig, but they said, oh yeah, we're making a movie and get in. I mean, I had to audition and everything, and it was a lot of fun. We did that shoot, and I think that shoot took one day, and then there's another one a little bit later. Yeah, where there's like a house party and I'm in the party or something. Yeah.
So I wanted you, because of all the reflective questions of what makes you happy, the noises you like, I wanted you to give this Marcus a word from the future.
Oh my gosh. Dude, you have no clue what beauty and joy that God has for you. You just keep your head up and don't doubt yourself so much, and take that extra dance class because you're gonna need it. Don't doubt yourself. Don't doubt your voice. Don't doubt your singing voice. He had some things where he wasn't 100% proud of himself, but I just want to let that guy know that there's some beautiful stuff headed his way, and if he would just get out of his way, he'll be able to see it a lot sooner.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much. This was so much fun.
Oh my goodness, you got me. I'm over here tearing up. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I knew that Tasha's appearance and this particular video would take you there, and I'm so glad, because you're such, I left Memphis and I came back, and you have been always there supporting, whether I did anything or not. You've always been vocal. You've been a man of, let me say, faith and integrity. And I just want to make sure that people know who you are, that you get an opportunity to tell your story. You get an opportunity to share your goodness with whoever watches on the replay, live, whatever, that people get to know who you are, the art that you are creating, and the lives that you are changing. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Claire.
You're welcome. Final comments check. Yes. All right. We're going to come right up in here. Brenda Lee says, thank you, Marcus. Yes. Great host, First Lady. Thank you, girl. Everyone is giving you thumbs up. Thank you all for the hearts. Thank you for the applause. Thank you all so much for being here. Chris says, awesome show as usual. Thank you, First Lady and Marcus. Thank you so much. Blessings to you. Yes. And to you too, Frank. Well, thank you. Thank you. Marcus, do you have any final words? I'm going to give you the screen. If you have any final words to give to anyone anyone who is maybe thinking in this time in our lives, in this time of our society, and during this pandemic and all the pandemics that we're facing, what it would be an encouraging word to someone who may want to pursue the arts?
It goes for me. It goes back to the squeaky wheel gets the oil, right? So if it's what you want to do, it's where you want to be, then you've got to make sure that you're out there, you're pushing forward, you're doing it. Don't hear the word no. Let it be a bad word for you. And if you find yourself wanting to create and you don't find the avenue to be where you can create as a part of something, then create your own. That's totally fine. It's totally great. And there's so many opportunities and realms to where you can create art and make your own thing. And just keep doing that. Go for it. Hey, Curtis, I love you. And just keep pushing forward and don't doubt yourself. And here's the big key to it, and something that, again, that I learned a little bit late, but I'm glad I know it now, is that surround yourself around people who've got your back and will always, listen to you when you need to rant. Don't feel like you have to hold things in. Be there. Let folks be there for you. Let folks, support you when you need it. And then remember to reciprocate that on the other end as well.
That is so beautiful. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, we have spent our time, a little bit over an hour, with our brother from another mother, but we got the same father, Marcus Cox. Yes. Marcus, please stand by. I want to tell you thank you after the show. Thank you all for being here. Love you too. Chris says everyone have a blessed and wonderful day with lots of love, peace, and blessings, everyone. Franco, thank you so much. Rika says have a wonderful day, everyone. Y'all, this is Claire D. Kohlheim. That was my guest, Marcus Cox. Y'all, thank you also. There he is drinking. Got you. Thank you also, everyone, for being here live. Thank you for catching the replay. Y'all, I really appreciate it. My jewelry today was from Monica Settles. Please look for her on Facebook. I thank you all for your time, and I'll catch you all next time on Let's Be Clear About It.